know if that source is real.
Like, see if the experiments that are doing are actually plausible and if they were faking statistics.
Faking statistics, yeah, it can happen. Because you can kind of make data say whatever you need data to say if you find the right piece of data. So that's fantastic. That's actually what we're going to do today. And part of this lesson is looking at the studies and the news, seeing how the news reports on it, what the study originally said, and trying to decide if we can come up with what is true from it, okay? But to do that, we're gonna start with QFT. Now, I know you've done this before, so let me, well, do I know you've done it? I've heard you've done it. Is that true? Have we done QFT where you write all your questions first? You just brainstorm questions? Okay, that's, we're gonna do that again today. So for the first, we're gonna do it for 3 to 5 minutes, and you're gonna write all the questions that come to your mind about the prompt that I put up on the screen. And you're not gonna stop and judge any of your questions. My biggest bad habit in high school and college was to judge my questions. I was always telling myself it was a stupid question and I was too afraid to ask it. And then my superpower as an adult now is I just ask all the questions. And people are like, oh, you just ask all the questions. We're all thinking it, but you're the one willing to ask it. But it was a lot of years for me to get there. So I don't want you to judge yourself. There's no stupid questions as long as they're on topic with the prompt, okay? And then you're gonna write down as many questions as you can. You're gonna get to the point about 3 minutes where you're just stuck. And you're like, I don't have any more questions about that. Push past it and write a couple more questions, because sometimes our best questions come when we thought and push past that stopping point. And then we're gonna go back and change our, we'll do that later. If you have a statement, it's okay to have a statement, but try to turn your statement into a question. You can, okay? All right, well, we don't have to number them. You can decide if you want to do that. Questions about QFT? Go ahead and, oh yeah.
The document paper?
Oh, good question. On this 11 by 17 one.
Okay.
Okay, so you can fill this up and use one color. You can choose which color you're going to use. Okay?
Wait,
Yeah.
so we're ready to get everything about what?
Oh, very good question. You need the prompt. I'm going to get to the prompt. You're already asking the questions. Where's the prompt? Here it is. Hey, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to mess with your question asking, so you just go for it. Sometimes it helps to know how to pronounce a word in your head. That word part of QFT stands for question formulation technique. It is to categorize your questions and then work on improving your questions. So you can write a rough draft and you can make a really good final draft, but we can do that with our questions too. So the first step is to categorize our questions into open and closed. And somebody remind me and everybody, what is an open-ended question? Is that one of those no-brainer questions that teachers ask where we all know it, so we're not gonna say it? Maybe an open-ended question has more than one answer to it. Okay, and then the closed question would be there's one right answer, or it's like one word only, yes or no, there's a number to it. Okay, so you're gonna go through your list, you can use a different color and write O or C next to it if your question is open or closed. This one won't take us too long. So if you're still labeling, go ahead and keep labeling. I'm just gonna talk through the benefits of each. When we're researching or studying something, one type of question is not necessarily the only question we should ask. If we're asking all closed questions, we're not open to multiple answers, and so we need to make sure we're asking a combination of open and closed questions. If you're asking all open-ended questions, you're gonna go down such a deep rabbit hole of information. You need some answers that are gonna guide you toward a destination. So we need a mix of both when we're researching. And we need practice turning one into the other and then back and forth. So you're gonna pick the question that you maybe want most answered of each type when you do your research and flip them. So using your other color, go ahead and turn a closed question into an open-ended question, and then turn an open-ended question into a closed question. To finish, the next step is going to be to star the 3 questions you would most like answered in research about those articles. attribute?
I said I wanted to know what erythritol is.
That's such a good question. We kind of have to start there, right? What is erythritol? Good. What else?
I was gonna say, can we make artificial sweeteners without
Okay, yeah, can we make it without erythritol? Okay, that's two. Four more.
How does erythritol affect the cardiovascular system?
Okay, good. Yeah, because you saw that. Two of the articles we're talking about, it's linked to maybe problems. Good. Yes.
I wanted to know how much media you need to consume to suffer cardiovascular events.
Great question. So how much led to the cardiovascular event? Okay, two more.
My question was, are all these sources reliable, good sources to be looking at? And like if there's any like bias in them?
Yeah, great.
I said like one of the headlines said it's basically kind of basically.
Yeah, such a good question. What is basically fine? Okay. So let's go back to your sources. I'm gonna go back to that prompt page for a second. And let's go through these sources real quick to know what we're looking at. So the first one is from more of a GQ. You can see the things on top are shopping, culture, grooming, wellness, sports. So this is more of a maybe blog kind of page. This, the National Institute of Health, this is a study summary of it. So this is funded research. That's from CNN, a news article. And then this one is from, if you notice, MD standing for doctor, so a blog from a doctor himself, but it's kind of his own page. So what bias might he have, or what expertise might he bring into the situation, okay? So you have in front of you, I passed this packet out. It looks basically, there's a lot of writing on here. The thing is when we ask questions before we read, reading goes so much faster. So that's my first hypothesis today, is you're gonna find this goes faster than you think. The second one is you're reading with a quick purpose. You're going to look for answers to the questions that you wrote down, and you're gonna circle those. And then if you find information that leads you to have a new question, you're just gonna put a star next to it. So you don't have to annotate in the big involved way that you're used to, just circling and starring information. I love Mrs. Wheatbrook came up with this analogy for reading big studies. Reading academic articles is like coming to a party late. You haven't been introduced to everyone, you're joining mid-conversation, you don't know all of the background, and you don't know the inside jokes. So that's why news summarizes them for the general public, but then sometimes information gets oversimplified. So when you're looking through this and you think about the news ones, that's this article 2 in the handout, is from the news. Kind of keep that in mind, that it's great that they're summarizing it for you and there's truth to it, but I think look for some of those oversimplifications perhaps, okay? All right, questions about the next step? Okay, I'm gonna give you more time for reading than we've had for the rest of this. So